All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's better. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. Looks like we're live on CribDib. Yep. We're live on CribDib on Slapback Pack Trap. Live on Slapback. Hey Tony, how are we doing on Bluetooth? Are we good on Bluetooth yet? Huh, Tony? Can't hear you, Tony. You're not in my ear yet. Oh, there you are, Tony. We're good. We're on Bluetooth, and right now, sounds like we're going live on BoneDogThugHustle.com. Yeah. Bone Dog Thug Hustle, one of my favorite platforms, and of course now I think we're live on YouTube as well. So, lots to talk about. Lots to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather not talk about it. And how dare you? How dare you? Let's listen to some music and draw for a minute. Or for an hour. I have to work later today. This morning, in a few hours. Hey, Joel. You got the memo, I see. Oops. My phone's gonna move a lot. Ooh. Hope you're doing well. How's it going up in Ontario? Or near Ontario-ish? Ontario proper. Have you ever heard of the Shag Harbor incident? You live up in that area. Sort of. I mean, closer than I do, probably. Something similar like that happened near where I live, though. Back in World War II. And it was called the Battle of Los Angeles. I even named one of my songs after it. It was when the army attacked this fucking thing that was just sitting over Los Angeles. And it wasn't moving. And they were shooting at it and nothing was happening to it. And it was just this massive behemoth. The neighbors are cranking that music up a little bit. Sorry about that. Hi. Good luck. Yeah, you too. Good luck. Sorry to tell you, friend, but we're all gonna die in the end. I don't think luck is on our side. Best just to throw the caution to the wind and just be a better person every day and just say, screw luck. You gotta make your own luck, I think. I used to think I was Irish. Turns out I'm mostly Scottish. Thus the skirts. It makes perfect sense now. And that's why I think it's funny that people get all bold and think that people who wear skirts are weaker than. That just cracks me up. Anywho, that was in Nova Scotia. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was in Nova Scotia. I'm sorry. Where is Nova Scotia? Is that in Germany? It might as well be. Mm-hmm. But that was a crazy incident, huh? If nobody has ever heard of it, Google it. The Shag Harbor. I know it sounds funny. I wanted to name my band Shag Harbor for a long time. But I figured people would think we were like an Austin Powers tribute band or something like, yeah, but sorry, Jesus. Yeah, baby, I was just gonna do that. I can do it. I can do a Dr. Evil. I keep wanting to do I want to do Kermit. I want to just do a Kermit. But instead I end up it sounds like distorted evil Kermit. Like, hi kids. What am I drawing? I love these pens, but they don't dry fast enough, and I get ink all over my fingers, and then it smudges like that. It's bullshit. Can't get shit done with ink like that doesn't dry fast. Such a bummer. It's like I spend all that money on those pens, and then I just revert right back to my Sharpies, because it's just like, I have two in my pocket at all times. And now I have to deal with this stupid smudge that I just did. It looks kind of cool. It looks like a motion blur. If anybody is into editing, that's what a motion blur is, an effect that you put on a clip to make it look like there's a blur in the motion. It's just sort of technical like that. Yes, it is 5 something in the morning, and this is how I am all the time. especially after I just smoked 17 bong loads of some kind of powdery green substance and it was glowing in the dark. I'm curious, you know? What do they say about the cat? Curiosity helped the cat grow wings or something? I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. See, the Sharpie never lets me down. But it's gonna let you down right now because I have no idea where I'm going with this one. Looks like a peanut. Let's make it a peanut. Yeah, that's right. Somebody requested that I draw a butterfly like 3 weeks ago. Maybe I'll do that now. They're never like, can you draw a butterfly right now? They're like, can you draw a butterfly? Uh, yeah? I'm not actually good at drawing butterflies. Hi, Kristen. How are you today? Well, I figure the nicer I am, the nicer people will be to me. Isn't that how it works? I know that's how it is with the cops and paramedics. At least in the movie Return of the Living Dead. Send more cops! If anybody's ever seen that, know what I'm talking about, let's go on a date. I want to have your male pattern baldness. I don't know what it is. Whatever we call it. Whatever the kids are calling that these days. That exciting old stuff. You going on the boat? What kind of boat? Like a shrimp boat? Are you a shrimp boat captain? Or are you just like is that an expression for like you're gonna start drinking again after falling off the wagon? Because that's what it's like. Or are you gonna do your homework on the boat like Brian from Breakfast Club? That's okay, son. You can do it on the boat. What's going on? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Yes, folks, this is what happens when somebody's off their meds and it's... Well, I'm not off my meds. I'm on coffee. I'm on coffee. I'm on coffee time. Oh, crap. I kind of did figure out a better way to set up my phone, but I need to keep it from jiggling so much. Some people like to jiggle. I like giggling. I like giggle. I don't like jiggle. I like jiggle in certain, just not in this context. I like jiggle. I like jigs. Dang it. I hope it's not too annoying though. Oh, don't be sad, Ultra. Wait, Ultra. Don't be sad, Ultra. We're all in this together. There's no need to be glum. How about this? I'll be glum for you. I'll be glum for you, and then you can put on a happy face. And I'll suck that gloom right out of you, okay? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you and yours are safe and sound. And I hope you had good dreams. Or at least, maybe you're heading into dreamland. And you're hearing the song in the background, and it's giving you major anxiety. Buenos días. Life finds a way. That's for sure. That's how I usually talk. These other voices are just absolutely ridiculous. I try to be serious, and then the little voice in the back of my head says, "Don't be a dick." And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try. So, or Heath Ledger's voice comes on and says, "Why so serious?" Just like that, you know, because that's probably how Heath talked. But in character, he'd be like, "Why so serious?" You know, but I mean, in my dreams, Heath is just like, "Hey man, why so serious?" Yeah, just I have very vivid dreams. And sometimes the dreams even happen when I'm awake. And I'll be talking to people and I'll be dreaming. And then I have to act like I knew or was listening to what they were saying that entire time. I've gotten better about not doing that because I realize that it's really horrible to do to people. You're just sitting there dreaming while they're talking to you. It's like kind of rude, you know? Unless the dream is like really good. In which case they'd probably understand. Wet dreams may come. My name is on your list. What kind of list do you have, my friend? What kind of list are we talking about? Fill me in. I want to know. On a boat list? Do you have a boat? Do you have a boatload of lists? How many lists are we talking about here? Wait, I'm the one that said lists. You said list. So that means that that's something very specific. Specific. Like just like the ocean. The Pacific Ocean. I live right next to it. I can smell it from here. It is definitely on my wish list. I mean, what? What? Hi, Rose. How'd the rest of your night go? How are you feeling today? Are you feeling rested? There we go. Perfect. Perfectly imperfect. That's how I like it. Good. I'm glad you feel good. That makes me feel happy. Happier than clams stuck to the side of a boat heading to the Norwegian waters of South America. Sleep is delicious. I could just take one big bite out of sleep all the time and just think to myself, hey everybody, let's just have a big slice of pie together and talk about our feelings. Sorry folks, that was Dingbat. He was supposed to be asleep. Go back to sleep, buddy. It's okay. All right. Oh, he just ran away. Did you hear that? It's important to listen to your inner child. Probably the most important thing you can do, because it's the closest thing you'll ever have to freedom, to true freedom. And then, once you can integrate with your shadow a bit, you're kind of like unstoppable, and nothing can touch you or hurt you anymore. This is how you get people like Leonardo, Splinter, even Shredder, even the Shredder. But also aliens and stuff like that. So it's important to always remember the aliens, that they're in charge. I'm gonna miss you all. But I'll be heading back home tomorrow to my moon, people. And it's not our moon. It's one of the moons of Jupiter. I'm not allowed to say which one, though. That would be a little bit too Pacific Ocean. Cheers. Hey, Grandma?
Yeah.
Hey, can you get up and make me some more coffee, please?
What?
Can you please? Sorry, Grandma, I had a bubble in my throat. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you please make me some more coffee? Really, get up, please. Look at me, Grandma.
What?
Look at me, please. Over here. Grandma, over here. There you go. Can you make me some more coffee, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Grandpa, don't look at me like that. Roll over. Don't look at me. Look at the wall. Thank you. Put the hat on. Look at the wall. Thank you. Grandma, hurry. Okay, folks. My grandma's making more coffee. Anybody want some donuts or something? Make some donuts for my friends. She's really good. She can UPS those things like pretty quick. If you're local, they'll be piping hot by the time you get them. Grandma, this first batch of coffee is kind of burnt. I need you to. Grandma? Grandma? That's weird. I'm out here alone by myself. That's strange. Stop shaking, camera. It's on one of those little things. Oh, I'll just show you. It's on one of those things. And I have like a water thing in here holding this bucket down. This is my setup. So please, like and subscribe to somebody else's channel that can actually give you a proper video and lighting. Maybe that helps a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, huh? Ow. I just stubbed my kneecap. It kind of tickled. It's okay. Did Kristen, did you not ever tell me what that list was? You're just gonna leave that hanging? You're just gonna leave that comment hanging there like a vulture on a power line? Come on now. Because now I'm like thinking all sorts of lists in my head, and Christmas is coming up, and I just want to make sure I get on that good list. Because there's a few things that I really want for Christmas. Like, I want a pony, I want my 2 front teeth, and world peace. Or at least, maybe world police. Maybe just world police. One world power of police station that can just police everybody. What's the worst that could happen? Armageddon? Did you know Armageddon is actually a place? It's not like the definition of the end of the world. It's like a place. The end of the world would be just called, well, we wouldn't know what it was called because it would just be the end. And then we'd have to make up language again we'd have to make up different words for everything again. If some of us survived. And we were scattered again, and we had to rebuild upon the fucking cities, and the forest taken over like New York City and everything again. Have you ever seen the movie, or the movie 12 Monkeys? I love that movie. That's probably one of my favorite movies ever made. Bruce Willis is so fucking cool in that movie. Sorry to cuss, but it's true. It's Bruce fucking Willis too. He's sick right now. It makes me really sad because I grew up watching him a lot. In all these movies I used to just daydream about. I used to daydream about like saving people and being a hero, and I was a comic book artist all throughout my kid years. I still have a really, really healthy imagination. Like I know enough now to know that we can't have nice things because there's always going to be psychopaths that are always going to want something that you have, and are always going to look at your kindness as a weakness and try to take advantage of it. There will always be people like that, unfortunately. So it's up to you to find people that aren't and band together. And those are the real people you should be fighting, because those are the people that are actually in charge of everything, and that sign off on war. The most profitable money-making machine of them all. and polluter. The Navy is the #1 polluter in on our planet right now. We pollute our oceans faster than anything, and we're not even like. Anyways, sorry. That's okay, Rose. Have a good day. You take care of yourself. You're not banned. I never banned you. I think YouTube held your message, and then I think I put you on a timeout, just because it was just a little bit weird. But if you heard me, I said that we could still be friends. You just, just got to be a little bit more thoughtful with your words, I guess. Because YouTube pulls the things, and I have moderators who kind of watch my back. So, but yeah, we can totally be friends, buddy. Sometimes I like what people say too. It's just I have no choice. Like it pulls it before I even can do anything. But I also trust my moderators. I never said you were. And like I just explained, YouTube pulls the comments more than I do. And I thought that I thought we were doing fine. And then you might have just said something weird. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else too. I talk to a lot of people, brother. I know, Joel. I see you right now through the window. Hey! Who's there with you? Oh my god, is that the Bigfoot? He's actually kind of short. He's not but he has huge feet. Huh, strange. Oh, he's just crouching down to look in the window. I see. Oh, no, he's huge. No, he's very big. Holy shit, Joel. Be careful out there, buddy. Bigfoot and you are always watching. So I have over 100 screens live right now. I don't know what that means, dude. So do I specifically see it? No, it just tells me that your comment was hidden, and then I have the choice to look at it or not. And sometimes I do out of curiosity, but most of the time I don't. I don't know what you're asking me, buddy. Like I said, we can just move forward and be buddies. You have 100 screens open right now? Like, are you like the, like, what is it, the architect from the Matrix or something? I'm making a choice. I'm gonna go save my girlfriend. Fuck y'all. Cool. Right on. I know, I've seen you before on here. I don't think we've ever had an argument or anything. I think you've always been pretty cool to me. So, yeah. I probably was thinking about somebody else when I gave them a timeout, to be honest. There was a guy last night that said something that I gave a timeout to. And then another time it was YouTube that does it. But I rarely do that myself, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt, Like if you did say something, I'm sure it was a joke, because I don't assume people are just awful until like it's obviously awful. Tonight at 3:00 p.m., which means early afternoon. So tonight, when I said that, I misspoke. I do apologize, viewers. Please don't leave. They're going to kill me if you do not tune in tonight. They're going to murder me. Yeah, and my family. Please tune in tonight at this early afternoon at 3:00. Thank you. See, that's how it is. What do you do out there? How are you? What kind of stuff are you spread out doing? That sounds awful. I just mean, you know what I mean. Like, what kind of stuff are you monitoring? And don't say monitors. I'm just kidding. You're like, I'm just monitoring monitors, bro. I have my phone, and I have a tablet that I play music on, so it's like, all I have is this one screen, so it's Bigfoot and you go way back. Loose stacks, multi-band. See, I don't even know what any of that means, dude. But I'm sure somebody else watching does. I'm so new to all of this stuff, and I'm just old. I don't even... But it sounds like you're busy, and I like that. You gotta stay busy nowadays. Especially if it's stuff that you're into. Like, I figure I love video and I love art. I love music. I wish that I could play different music from time to time, but I'll have to find friends who like have stuff that's like not copywritten or just record a bunch of stuff like instrumental stuff. But anyways, I'm sorry. I'm inside the just data. I am trying to break. Restaurant data. Cool. Well, that's the kind of busy I like. If you're trying to break through, I think it's important to continuously be somewhat challenging yourself, you know? I think the second we become stagnant or stand still, that's when I think dangerous things start to happen. I think if people moved around more and got out more and stopped going to giant grocery stores and started shopping local and caring about their neighbors more, the world would be a much different place. I mean, we see it in other countries. I mean, we see how these things work in other countries. Not that everything's perfect in other countries, but there are models that have worked to a certain degree. And because what we're doing now, it just doesn't work. And I might, I wrote something, now that I'm thinking about it, I wrote something on Facebook this morning about like, just I hate how hyperbolic everybody is about everything. It's like they're just saying everybody that's a conservative is a Nazi. And then everybody on the right says everybody on the left is a commie. It's just like, god damn, all these stupid labels. It's just so silly. I don't know. I don't know why I thought of that. It just, you know, when you write something and it sounds good, and then you go back later and you're like, oh, why did I write that? Like, I just want to delete it because people are still gonna read that and be like, you're a Nazi sympathizer. It's like, what? No, no, I'm not. Like, that's. All I'm saying is the second I see Nazis marching down the street, I'm strapping on my boots and I'm gonna go for a little walk. And you know what I mean, like, or at least be prepared for that kind of a battle. But I have not seen Nazis, and maybe there's extremists in the government. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, there's extremists on both sides who are ruining it for everybody. And just like how there's extremists in religions that take over everything, and that's all people talk about is the extremists and the extremists and labels and labels and labels, and they forget that there's humans everywhere that are just trying to live, literally just trying to live and get by and feed their kids. And a lot of us are starving and working 3 jobs and paralyzed by the system that we live in. Paralyzed. Mentally, physically. Our souls are hanging out to dry. People at the top pretend to be one of us while they rake in our pensions, our 401ks, our futures, our children's futures, the land that we live on that we were promised, the land that we were promised that we fucking took over from indigenous peoples, like a bunch of cowards, like a bunch of fakes. And they act like it only happened in America. Oh, those Americans. Those racist Americans. That might be the case, but it happened all over the world. Several times over. And it's always the meek and the weakest and the most vulnerable that suffer the most, always. Until that stops happening, I ain't on nobody's side. I'm on your guys' side. I'm on my neighbor's side. I'm even on that dickhead side that fucking hates me because I wear a skirt. Because we're in the same boat. Talking about boats. He doesn't know it, but we are. And I'm fighting for his dumbass too. Because I believe I know what I believe America could be. And that's what I want it to be. And until I die, I'm not going to let anybody change that. Or tell me to be afraid of my neighbors. I don't know why I'm going into this rant. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm just talking. Science fiction is no longer. I know, it's crazy. I'm not even drawing, I'm sorry. I'm just walking. See? Exactly. That's almost like what I was saying. It's like the quote from Lord of the Rings. with Treebeard. I said this a few times, but it's just so freaking perfect. In the book, it's more eloquent, but like in the movie, it's basically like uh, Pippin is like, "Whose side are you on?" As he's carrying them towards who they think is the White Wizard, Saruman. Um, and he's like, "Side? I'm on nobody's side because nobody's on my side, little orc." And it's just the best line ever because that's us. Like nobody's on our side. So why do people have flags on the back of their cars for these people that wouldn't wipe their use them even as a doormat? Or, you know what I mean? Like politicians are not your friends at all, ever, ever. All they do is work for corporations. All they do is work for corporations and themselves, and they get rich while doing it. Speak of the devil. Tunic? I don't understand it either. It's like I grew up. I mean, I grew up in both worlds, man. I grew up with cowboys, and on the other token, other side of the coin, I grew up in like in just towns like Davis and Chico in California, like regular little towns, like 80s and 90s towns. I don't know how to explain it. Just little American towns. And they were just normal little towns, and back, especially even then, it's like even in the 90s and in the early 2000s, like before Fox News and everything got with like after 9/11, that's when things started getting like super dumb, politically divided. Before that, nobody cared about Republican, Democrat. I mean, people cared about Bill Clinton, but the only like because remember when he got he was what do you call it impeached. But the only reason he was impeached, it wasn't even that he got a whatever in the office. He got pleasured in the office. It wasn't even that he did that. It was that he lied about it. He lied under oath, and that's what they impeached him about. It wasn't even the act of doing what he did, because all those fuckers do it. They're all a bunch of hypocrites, and they're like trying to take everything you own from you, and they always have been. Look at old videos of Biden from like the late 80s. And he's talking about just desperately trying to take Social Security away from like old people, and like trying to take welfare away, trying to take everything away from the working class. And look how rich he's gotten while he's in office, while he's been senator and all that kind of crap, and vice president. Look how rich those guys get. Look at Nancy Pelosi, how much money she made. I don't think those people should be making money at all if they're representing the people, but they don't. That's why they made it to where people are corporations, and corporations can vote because they're people. And once you allow corporations to vote, the people are gone. That's it. Working class, bye-bye. Because corporations are always going to have the power. They're always going to have more money than us. Always. And they're making sure about that now. By the wealth gap is every day getting more and more and more and more and more divided. And that's exactly why people give a fuck about what people wear. Because they feed us. They like put the feelers out there, and they plant the seeds in our brains that, oh, this person over there, your neighbor that looks like this or that thinks like this or that has there's one thing that's different. Even though you agree on 1,000 things, there's this one thing that you guys disagree on, so you're fucking enemies. It's the most ridiculous thing, and I can't believe so many people buy into it. And like I've said before too, I'm a broken record, but like I live in a super conservative area, and I've never been messed with at all, ever. I wear makeup, a wig, skirts, all the time. I rarely wear pants unless I'm going to work. That's the only time I wear pants. And it's weird saying that now because I've been wearing a skirt for so long, but like, because I have to, like, when I'm talking about it, I have to say boy clothes, but it's like girls wear pants too. It's like, what? So I just don't understand. I don't get it either. It's so strange. And I've never been treated bad here. I'm sure I might someday, but I could be treated bad when I was wearing pants too. Or I have been. I've been treated far less bad since I started wearing skirts. So it's just like, I think people need to get out of their bubbles and go out and live life and stop believing what they read on the internet, and stop watching these programs that are only after your soul, your fucking ratings. You're just a cog to them. It's like the illusion of choice. What Bill Clinton did back in 1996, he consolidated the media down into 6. He consolidated like 64 companies down into 6. And he did that for the Republicans. They couldn't have done that without Bill Clinton. And Bill helped them do that. And that consolidated the media. And that was in 96. And then how many years later was 9/11? And they kept so many fucking crazy shit from us during 9/11. There's so many. I'm not like one of them. I don't know. There's some crazy shit going on with 9/11, man. You look again. You look at who profited, from it. Just and the people that were accused of it were Saudi Arabian, and then we went to war with Iraq, and we're still kissing the ring of Saudi Arabia, even after they kill American journalists, brazenly kill American journalists. And so it's just like, who's in power? What are our priorities? Meanwhile, we're bombing poor people in Yemen, and in Syria, running out of bombs in Syria under Obama's watch. Meanwhile, there's water protectors here in our country, indigenous people who are fighting for their land and their water, and these mercenaries are sicking their dogs on them, and Obama's just like, acting like there ain't lead in Flint, Michigan, in the water. He didn't lift a finger to help anybody. He could have done so much in his last year of office to help people. And I'm pretty sure he had a little bit of a stake in the pipeline that was trying to go through to out in Dakota there. Politicians are not your friends. I don't care what they look like, what they sound like, what they smell like, how old they are. They're not your friends. Hollywood? I mean, sure, Hollywood is, they're just a money-making thing. They pander, if anything. Plus, politics is all Hollywood too, man. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're all actors. That's why people are, it's such a cross, I was going to say cross-contaminated, but like, they go back and forth, Politicians are good actors. Most of the time they're really not, though. They're just like, it's just like Hollywood. They remake our old movies from our childhood that actually taught us how to be like kind of gritty and tough and to deal with like loss and how things aren't perfect. Those movies weren't perfect because they were like a little bit darker than maybe they should have been, but it was teaching you something too, like Looney Tunes. It's like when I was a kid, I didn't go outside and try to fucking hit my friend over the head with a hammer, but I did learn that life wasn't fair. That I didn't expect people to like always just give me anything. Like those cartoons teach you stuff, and they take all of those like things out of movies now, and then they just put in a person of color, and they say if you don't like this movie, they take out all the cool stuff, and then they put in something controversial on purpose, just to get everything. But they pander. That's all they do. And they don't recreate the story. They don't make it better. They make it worse. And then they call you a racist or a sexist if you dare to even like say, "Hey, man, what's with the story? The story sucks." Racist. Wait, no. I don't care what the actor looks like or but no, the story. What did you do to the story? The story sucks. I appreciate a good story. I don't care about, the acting is important too, but without a story, it all falls apart. And they take all of our old franchises, try to recreate them with half of the story, and they're just like these soulless skeletons of these shells of what they used to be. And they don't teach you anything. They just divide us even more. And I think you're absolutely right there. I think Hollywood is horribly guilty at doing that kind of stuff nowadays. That's why I just don't even watch movies anymore, because they're just so disappointing. And they're just so predictable. Everything is just, it's the same beat over and fucking over and over and over and over. And people are just like, yay, they're talking to me. I see myself in the movie. It's like, I didn't see myself as Ripley in Alien or Aliens, but when I was a kid, I imagined, it didn't bother me that it was a woman. And I could easily see myself being her now, like looking back. I mean, I wouldn't have been like, it wouldn't have been weird to me to even like be her as Halloween for Halloween as a kid. It. I don't know what is going on nowadays where people act like all this shit's new and like people are just all of a sudden just monsters all over the place. And when they're not, I don't think most people are. And if there is hints of those people out there, I'm not wanting to still wanting to be their enemy. It's like we don't have to agree on everything, but like good lord, we have to come together in some places, otherwise it's all going to fall apart. I mean, look what's happening now. It's just all people do is call each other names. And then like, oh, look, go back to their little bubble and say like, see what I did over there? Oh, I called that person a name. And it's just meanwhile the people at the top are just loving it. Just they don't have to do shit. They just like sprinkle a little bit of like hate juice all over the place. Right into the media. Then the media tells you all to hate and who to love and who to act like you love and all this shit, and everybody just sops it up like little fucking sponges, little square pants, and it just gets everywhere all of a sudden because they consolidated the media. And people are like, yeah, but this sounds like a conspiracy theory. It doesn't have to be. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it doesn't have to be when it's real, when it happened. And both parties work together to fuck us all over. And Hollywood too. We found out so much during COVID about the what is it, the Panama Papers, and how they hide. There's like billions of dollars hidden in offshore accounts by all these like politicians and all these the richest people in the world. And I have never heard anything about it since. Like that was like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sure stuff's going on, but still, it's like. Meanwhile, you can't afford a studio apartment in America under like what is it, $1,200. And if you're working a full-time job on minimum wage, you can't anywhere in America you can't afford a one-bedroom apartment. A one-bedroom apartment on a full-time job working minimum wage. Federal minimum wage. Luckily, some states understand that there is such a thing as inflation. And those balloons ain't gonna blow themselves up. Anyways, I'm probably preaching to the choir. And I know. I know people don't probably want to hear the political stuff. It's not really political, it's just big picture stuff, you know? And it's hard to ignore sometimes when it's just in your face and people are calling my aunt, who's in the other room sleeping, a Nazi. Like I said before, those are fighting words. And I would defend my aunt to the death. So, ain't no little people living in a bubble gonna tell me how to live my life or tell me who to be scared of or who to be angry at anymore. I'm pissed off at ignorant people who can't think outside the box. You know, act like life is black and white and there's no nuance. There's no nuance between large million groups of people. Like, I used to be sort of like that, but I was raised by a cop. So when people are saying all cops are bastards, I'm looking at my cop, and yeah, and then one of my stepbrother actually put it really well. He said, because I always had a problem with that, because I mean, I've had issues with my dad, but I think there are good cops out there. But my brother put it well. He said that, you know, it's more like that they're bastards because of the system that they have to work inside of. And that made sense to me. But it's still just like, I don't think other people look at it like that. And they just look at it like cop bad, people good. Like people are just out there just I don't know. I've been watching a lot. I watch a lot of courtroom stuff, and I watch a lot of body cam footage. Like a lot. I don't know why I started, but I started watching a lot of body cam footage, and people do dumb stuff all the time. I'm surprised people aren't getting shot all the time for how like I was saying, I was raised by a cop. So there's just things that I would not do. Like if a cop pulled me over or if a cop stopped me, I wouldn't be like reaching for stuff and like yelling, and I mean, I've been in some hairy situations. I've had cops pull guns on me before, like 3 or 4 different times in my life. Even my own dad has pulled a gun on me because he thought my brother and I walking out into the field to like do the irrigation. He thought we were like burglars. So all of a sudden, my brother and I are. It's like 5 in the morning. We're walking out there to do the irrigation in the fields, and our dad is right there in the backyard by the house in his tidy whities, nothing else but his underwear with his fucking Beretta pointing at us. And he's like, "Freeze!" And we're like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're doing the irrigation like you told us to." And he's like, "Boys, I was only kidding." And I'm like, "Well, you have a gun. Can you put the gun down?" Anyways, I don't know. It's a funny image to think about now. I still dream about that ranch a lot that we lived in then. He kept loaded guns in his mattress. There were just so many times I went in there and grabbed that thing and just held it, and sat there with it. I learned to hate guns. I was a pretty dark-minded little kid. I hated guns because I wanted to use them, I think. And I had to learn early on that there was a choice to be made about being good or evil. And I chose to try to be good. It doesn't mean you stop or you forget where you come from, you know? 'Cause you always got to keep those demons at bay. At Michael Bay. Hi, RL. How are you? It's been a wit. Been a it's been a wit. Who's been a wit? No, it's been a bit. I, you seem familiar to me. I feel like we've chatted before. I'm sorry. It's early and I've been talking with a lot of people lately. And I just went really dark a second ago, and I do apologize about the gun thing. But I mean, you know, I was raised by people that owned guns, and my dad always had. They were just everywhere, fucking everywhere. And I wasn't the only one that messed with them. My older brother would do Russian roulette with a 22 that we had. And like sometimes he would act like he put a bullet in there, and he would take the bullet out, and he would point it at my stepbrother and pull the trigger. My brother was a fucking maniac to my stepbrother. He would zap him with cattle rods, like when he was sleeping in bed naked, when he was like sleeping. He would go in there and zap him with cattle rods. I don't know if you know what the cattle rod is, but you zap cows with it. Cows have very thick hides, and Jared would have these little marks all over his body. It's crazy to think about now. Gabe would be in jail. Should have gone to jail. What he did to my little brother. Like I said, I think I was talking about Jared the other night, but Jared grew up to be like this amazing dude too. My dad would beat him. He was just this kind of like sort of overweight, out of shape, kind of not really agile kid, and everything that my brother and I weren't. And there was definitely some like, what do you call it, competition between Jared and I, because we were like, he's a year younger than I am. So there was some competition there, and we got in definitely some fights and stuff. But it was, you know, for what it was kind of like equal. And we roughhoused, or I would like pin him down or something, because I've never, I've said this before, but I've never like closed fist punched anybody in my entire life, like ever. I'm kind of proud of that. Even when I lost my tooth, I didn't even fight back. And the only reason I didn't fight back was because I wasn't alone, and I didn't want them to hurt my friends. More than they already had. But that wouldn't happen again. People change you in ways that you don't expect, but doesn't mean you change your standards. It just means you don't fall for the same thing twice. It's the funny thing about being raised by wolves. Then you get older and they get weaker. And then they act like they weren't wolves. They act like nothing ever happened. See, I have a good memory. I remember things that were said to me from a very, very early age. Things that people maybe thought I would have forgotten. But my memory is long. And for a long time, I did want to hurt people like that. But then I had to think about it a lot more and realize that I couldn't let them change who I was. And then I stopped feeling that way. And started feeling sorry for them more than anything. Because of what was probably done to them. Or what was said to them, maybe, I don't know. But I'm tired of letting fear rule the day. Anger's in my blood, but I'm not gonna let it boil. Just gonna draw. Care about the ones you love, fuck the rest. It's what my daddy said. Care about the ones you love, fuck the rest. It's what my daddy said. She's comfortable. And don't let the media fill her head with lies. Help your mother. Hi, Allie. How are you, sweetie? Ooh, a long walk sounds nice. Good. I think I spoke too soon about that thumb there. But no, that works right there, but not back here. So I'm probably gonna have to cover that up. But I want to come back here. Add some dimension. And then little shadow. Make it look even deeper. And so it looks like that. You always just gotta picture it in your head. A friend of mine actually that owns a little head shop down here. He's a painter. I always forget about this. It's really interesting. But he he can't visualize stuff in his head. Like I can picture, if I shut my eyes, I can picture what a ukulele would look like, or even like what it would look like if it was facing a certain direction. Like how I would try to draw the back of it, where the back would have to be if we were looking up from below, in a sense, like if this person was on a throne, for example. But like the toilet. um, sorry. But it's interesting to me that some people can't even do that, but they're like amazing artists, but they can't picture that in their head. I'm like thinking, whoa, that's true. Because I just found this out a few years ago that there's people out there that do that. And also, it's like finding out like somebody is a, musician or something like that, professional musician, but they have never written their own song. I kind of fucked that up a little bit. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Here's the top right there. I'm just sort of giving myself an outline. Because then the hand is right there, but like I can't just draw it going straight up because that wouldn't work, right? But since he's a guitarist, it's all on the wrist, so the arm would probably come out like this a little bit more, and the elbow would be out there. At least that's how I would see it. That way you can bring the arm back in, and then the shoulder would be like this thing. You know what I mean? You got to think about how bodies move. And even though the face is weird, I think that adds to the weirdness about how the body wants to be shaped versus how that head is looking. And it looks very. It's like an optical. Well, it's a mistake. I'm just trying to make it sound cool. But I like mistakes because I never know what I'm gonna draw anyways. So it's basically just one big mistake. Or a doodle. I think people call them doodles. Thank you, Professor. You're welcome. You're welcome. He's so nice. Tell Captain Obvious that I say hi next time you see him. Whittle do, whittle do. Why does he talk like that? Is it really dark to you guys? It's like I have a light shining right on it. It still just looks so darn dark. I'm sorry about the language, but it just does darn. It just looks so darn dark. I can't. If I go closer, it's gonna burn it. I don't understand. Just like this coffee. Grandma, where's that coffee? Grandma? Grandma, I'm gonna burn you. With the coffee. Jeez. It's not even hot anymore. Splash right in your face, though. Give me lip. She gives me a lot of lip for somebody that's old and helpless. Oh, Grammy. Grammy whammy. I was just kidding. Grandpa, don't look at me like that. Turn around. There you go. Oh, gee, Grandpa, don't throw things at me. Turn around and just face the wall. Don't. Jeez. I'll feed you later. I'll feed you I'll feed you after I'm done hanging out with my friends. They don't care. I'm just picturing my imagination is silly. Gosh, I'm sorry it's moving so much. It jiggles. It's a jiggler. If you grew up in the 80s, it probably doesn't bother you because you probably like Jello. So, did you know that there's a band called Green Jello, and then they had to change their name to Green Jelly? And did you know in 2012, on New Year's Eve in 2012, my band opened up for them, and it was the wildest show I've ever fucking played in my entire life. With Green Jelly, they were insane. My bassist and my buddy Cameron played with them. So my buddy Cameron played drums, and my buddy Dustin played guitar. So he jumped from my band into like Green Jelly's band that night, and it was just insane. Little pig, hell yeah. I got to meet Bill quite a bit. He stayed with my guitarist like quite often. I don't know whatever happened to them. I think they might have had like a falling out, or Bill just stopped touring so much or something. But Dustin and my friend Cameron went on tour with them, like all over the country, and I want to say Europe, but I know they went over to the East Coast and played hella shows with them. Like my buddy Dustin dressed up like the pig, like the cop. Boise's crazy, man. Like if you're just even in a band, I wouldn't even say you would have to be like necessarily different. You can they like people that sound just like everybody else too. But if you're different, you sure do stick out over there. You used to. In 2010, it was just like so small there. And this dude Eric from Finn Riggins, there's a band called Finn Riggins. He has a radio show still, I think, called Antler Crafts on Radio Boise. And he was the first person to ever play my music on the radio. And I was just like, I remember hearing it on the radio, and I heard my music on the radio a lot after the years I was there, but still, it was just like, every time I heard one of my songs, I was like, whoa. Because when you're a kid, you just dream about that kind of stuff. And then it happens, and it's like, holy crap. It doesn't have to be like a biopic or something where it's like, and then in the next scene, I'm like playing for 10,000 people. It's just like, no, hearing your song there's like a few things in my life that like, you know what I mean? Like, bucket list stuff. And even like small scale, I put together a tour in 2017, a little 5-day tour. Knocked that off my bucket list. I went on a little tour to Portland and back, basically from Boise. But like we played in Washington and Portland, and then I've opened up for some great bands. I got to meet Chris Novoselic, opened up for his band. Got to meet him and tell him how much him and Kurt helped me as a kid. And I don't care what he had to say, I just had to tell him that. And then had a lot of great art shows, met a lot of great artists. We opened up for the Meat Puppets. I mean, it was insane. But it's everything, just like anywhere, it's cliquey, and then there's like cool people and people that are. I mean, I was always not really I'm not a very social person, and I think when I was drinking, I rubbed people the wrong way a little bit, but people always sort of like respected my talents, but not me, I guess, in a way. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not trying to sound like poor me. But I took everything so personal over there, and I just like ostracized myself and just started recording and stuff playing out so much, because it gets old playing the same songs. I mean, I would try to introduce new songs, and the band was always just, because everybody was always in other bands, and I felt like introducing new songs a lot was hard for them, and it was really frustrating for me. But it was a good way for me to get used to playing in front of crowds, though. I played hundreds of shows over there. And then, like I was saying yesterday, in 2020, in January, Doug Marsh from Built to Spill got hold of me. Gonna go on tour, and I thought that was gonna be like, whoa, that was gonna be like our big break kind of thing, maybe. At least a lot of people were gonna hear us and see us, and actually we were gonna open up for them just as like for the heck of it in February. Our tour is gonna be in June, but in February he asked us if we'd want to open for them in Salt Lake City. And I was so excited, because that meant like a whole group of new people would hear these songs that we've been playing in Boise for 10 years. Because I was trying to get my band to go out of town and play with me, but we just never happened, except for when I did it for like 4 days or 5 days. And it was very, very small, and nobody came to the shows and stuff. The house show was pretty cool, but everything else was whatever. Anyways, yeah, the Salt Lake City show got canceled first because of COVID, and we were still hoping June would happen, but then by the time that happened, obviously everything had shut down. It's crazy how fast it happened too. Boise, I think, held out too. There was like tons of people that would come in. There was a mask mandate, and people would still come in without masks, and like sometimes they'd be awful and just like cough and act like all like weird and stuff, and just be absolute maniacs. Or sometimes they would just we were doing curbside, and they would just barge through and just walk over to the cat food and grab what they wanted, and our boss wouldn't let us say anything. Our boss wouldn't allow us to like be like, hey, get the fuck out right now, like what are you doing? Like we weren't allowed to say shit to them, and they could just walk all over us. Because in Idaho, people are like throwing rocks at like fucking, you know, people that were, you know, protesting for the George Floyd, like people like the whatever you call them, conservative type folks or whatever that were down there protesting. Because I don't think all conservatives are like this, but when you get into a group, you get that mob mentality, and they were just like beating the fuck out of my friends and stuff like that. That were doing a peaceful vigil. So, whatever you think the other side's doing, the other side's doing it too. And it's just funny to me that people think like, I don't know, this whole thing's just funny to me. Like in a dark tragedy, dark comedy sort of way, like a Shakespearean. Like, haven't we seen this movie before? Haven't we learned how to avoid this bullshit by now? Like, I hate how every year, like, Hollywood does, like, smell its own farts with all these stupid movies that, like, are just so, like, wonderful and, you know, just uplifting, and you watch it and you would just want to change the world and shit. But then those same people don't go out and do shit. They just smell their own farts. All they do is get in their own bubbles and blame the other people for everything. Nobody takes responsibility for anything. I guarantee you, the people that say, like, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps have never pulled themselves up by their bootstraps or had to, ever. The only people that I know have ever done that are like the poorest people who literally had no choice and who just like did it because they had to. And they weren't like these macho cowboy types. Oh, pull yourselves up. Hate that shit. Like everybody got help from somewhere at some point. Man, I sucked my own titty. I got my own milk from my own titty. My mama didn't have to give me nothing. I say some weird stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to some of the stuff I changed my mind about over time, but it's worth thinking about anyways. You know, just how silly it all sounds at the end of the day. Like once you break things down into like the most basic forms, it's like I don't want to give my neighbor nothing. How come? Well, because I didn't get nothing growing up. It's not fair. It's like, huh? That's not what I was taught as a kid. It's like if I have two and that person has none, he's getting one of mine. That's how I am. That's how it is. That's how it should be, I think. Like everybody is like, toilet paper. Give me that toilet paper, you motherfucker. Do you see my Beretta? It has your name written all over it. Now you give me that 2-ply. You give me that 2-ply, you son bitch. I'll give you the 2-ply if you give me those paper towels. Are those brawny? People, toilet paper. I was fine, man. I barely even use toilet paper. I use those wipes, those wet wipes. Those things save the day. People always like, I don't. This is gonna get kind of gross, so you can mute it if you want to. But pun intended there. Folks will say, I don't like those because I don't like the feeling of my butt being wet afterwards. And I'm like, oh, so you like the feeling of shit on your ass still? You know, like seriously, if you have a question about wipes, try toilet paper first, right? And assume that you got it all, right? Then take a wipe and then do that business and then check it out. And I guarantee you, you're gonna switch. You're gonna switch. Plus, when you have 5 anuses like me, it's just I have 3 in my right armpit. I mean, I got to do something. I can't just have toilet paper hanging out there all the time. Gets in there like little Klingons, you know, like little. It's kind of gross sometimes. That's how I keep my figure. It's how I keep my figure. I look in the mirror and I throw up all the time, so I can't keep anything down. It's just so disgusting. I can't even look at myself. Oh shit! I gotta feed my cat. Okay, everybody, I gotta go. Exactly, Joel. The brand thing. Oh wait, Joel said, yeah. That should be a commercial, man. I don't care, or like a slogan for like a politician. Like, I don't care how you wipe your butt. Just wash your hands afterwards. For fuck's sake. It was cool to hear my music on the radio, man. It was just like, even though it was like the community radio station, it was like still just like wonderful. And actually, about a few months later, actually, once I had gotten to know my friends a little bit better, they had a program on Radio Boise. My friend Luna and I were on there. Actually, it's in. I should post it on my thread or my community page. But we were like, I filmed it, our early videos back in like 2011. But we get all dressed up. She'd wear angel wings, and I'd wear like we look like Lost Boys, essentially. People said we look like Lost Boys. Because I had like a bear hat and stuff. And I wore a suit and a tie that was all like disheveled. And back when I drank, it was that I was really disheveled. But the one time like they were playing my song on the radio apparently. And Luna said that she was in the bath. I thought that I remembered hearing the song on the radio, but I think I was mistaken. That was a different song that had the F word in it. And I was scared because I pulled over. I was listening to a song on the radio of mine that Eric was playing, and I knew that it had the F bomb in it. So I was like texting, or I was like trying to call him and text him to be like, I pulled over and I was like, dude, this song has the F bomb in it. And when it finally got to the word, it went like mute for a second, and he wrote back and he's like, oh, I know, I heard it. And I'm like, oh, dude, hell yeah. So he like found it, and anyways, it was cool. But the first time, my friends got in trouble because there's a song I wrote called "People Like You Hate People Like Me," and in it says you're taking your time to fuck with my mind. But when you listen to the song, the fuck word is the fuck word. It's so nonchalant, like you just don't even really think about it, and especially if you say the word a lot, it's just almost like hidden in plain sight. And so my friend Luna said she was listening to Radio Boise and that song came on, and she was like, oh shit, because she knew that the word fuck was in it, and she was trying to get a hold of the guys, but before she could, it said, you're taking your time to fuck, and then like it just cut out. And like they pulled him off the air, and like the FCC got involved in everything. Like it was kind of, they got in trouble for that, and it was my fucking song, and I'm like proud of that now. So not only did one of my songs get heard on the radio, but I shut down Radio Boise because they didn't like check the song first. They didn't even ask me if they could play that song. They pulled it off of like a CD or something and just played it, and they should have listened to it first. But I clearly say fuck like several times. It's just kind of funny. Anyways. I'm gonna go wipe and wash my hands. So yeah. Anyways, have a good morning, everybody. I'm gonna feed my critters too, and I'm working in a pet store today, close to home, and it's gonna be chill. That place is just such a cool place to work. It's so cool working somewhere where the only thing that I'm not 100% on, besides a few of the products, obviously, because it's all a lot of new stuff to me, but I can kind of BS my way through any product in that place. But it's the register, just because certain things like I never want to mess up like somebody's payment, and so that's kind of, being back in like the customer service world is kind of weird, because I worked in a warehouse in Portland for 3 years, and that's how I got injured. So now I didn't ever want to work customer service again, and I didn't ever want to live in California again. But gosh, if I was ever going to live anywhere in California, it would be right here where I am. And if I was ever going to have a job, it would be working for the people that I'm working for now. So I guess my life is going really well right now. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Because I know things can change, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm grateful. Very grateful. Because I have had help. A lot of help. And I know I'm not alone. So if y'all don't ever want to be alone, you can always come here and hang out with me and us. I appreciate the moderators, as usual, and my new friends that come and go. And I hope you and your family are safe out there. And I hope you have a great day. And spread some love, spread some cheer. Cheer. I'm not talking about Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.